Dear friends, welcome to Spacefaring Civilization. Hi, I'm Masood. I apologize, I'm a little bit late on the live stream. I actually thought I recorded it, but sorry, I went live, but I didn't. So I went through the whole thing. Now I'm going to go through the whole thing again. Doesn't matter. We'll get there. So welcome to Spacefaring Civilization. I'm Masood. For those who are new to Spacefaring Civilization, it's a platform where filmmakers help each other create optimistic science fiction. If you'd like to join the community, please subscribe to this YouTube channel or join our Facebook group where we discuss, we collaborate, and we inspire each other to create awesome optimistic science fiction. So today I'm going to be talking about the miniature set that I built for Bonkus. So if you haven't seen Bonkus yet, go to www.sfcfilms.com. It's a little quirky science fiction short film that we made, which is set underwater. So the external scenes are the miniature models that are built. And so this is practical special effects combined with a little bit of CGI as well. So one thing that I tried and I encourage people to do is actually building the models from bits and pieces that you find from your house or you get from the craft shop and whatnot. So I'll go through that in a second. But before that, I'll give you a quick update on what's happening with Spacefaring Civilization. So next month, December, which is actually tomorrow, I believe. Well, I'm not going to release it tomorrow, but next month in December, I'll be releasing The Man in the Moon, which is a short film that I did with Dan Sanguinetti from Sanguinetti Media. It's a wonderful, heartwarming story, which we did earlier in the year with a bunch of wonderful cast and crew. It is very much optimistic. It has a very inspiring and heartwarming story. So that's coming in December. So keep an eye on that. I'll also open up the forums where you yourself or other filmmakers that have done optimistic science fiction and it's just sitting on the shelf, or you've got it online on YouTube, you can submit it to Spacefaring Civilization. So my whole aim is for the website to be like a portal, a central portal where we can watch independent optimistic science fiction. And it's available for the fans of optimistic science fiction for free. So they can watch it for free. So at the moment, my short films are on there. And hopefully I'll be adding more next month and the following months here. Quickly about the SFC writing contest. So as you may or may not know, I'm running a optimistic science fiction writing contest. You write a 5-page short film and then submit it to the writing contest. The aim of it is to basically get you thinking and encourage you to make optimistic science fiction, short film science fiction. So every month I'll choose a finalist from the people who submitted that particular month. And then by the end of the contest, hopefully there'll be 9 finalists where a panel of judges will judge winners and there'll be prizes to win. And hopefully those prizes I haven't determined what those prizes are, but the prizes will be a combination of cash and other benefits to help you create the short film. So that's one of the aims of running the writing contest as well. So the aim of it is to basically get you to make the short film, not just write it. But writing it is a great step. So it's for people who are getting started or even novices who want to wet their feet with optimistic science fiction. This writing contest is perfect for it. And you can submit as many scripts as you want. The only suggestion I make is don't submit a whole bunch in 1 month, because I'm choosing 1 finalist per month. If you submit 4 or 5 in 1 month, I'll only choose 1. So you might miss out on the rest. So just spread it out a little bit, submit it in different months. Okay, so let's get into it. So before I go and show you the model, let's have a quick look at and I'll share my screen with you in a sec. Let's have a quick look at what the funnel scene looked like in the short film, and we'll go from there. So just sharing my screen with you. Hopefully you see that. So that's what it looked like. So that's Pacific South Science Station Theta, or PIST for short. So yeah, a bit of humor there. So that's my little geeky-licious humor. So just let me play the scene for you. So just to give you an idea, so it's meant to be underwater. So it gives you that sense of underwater station, and with I guess with the futuristic look as well, and with the lights going up and whatnot. So let me switch cameras, and I quickly show you the model itself. So this is the model. I just go around to the model. So this is the main building, where you had the portal holes and basically the roof where the light shines. And I use this little torch to shine a light through it. So it kind of gives you a sense that there are people in there. And there are the external buildings or sub-buildings, which are round and they look a little bit more futuristic. This little landing bay for submersibles didn't show up on the film, but that's okay, it still looks good. And there's foliage and back scenery as well. So it makes it look more authentic as a underwater station. So the advantage of doing models is that you're basically free to basically film in different angles and then see what works. I still love doing CGI, but it's very time consuming, especially if you want to get different shots. You have to wait hours and hours before it renders, before you actually see the result, or at least practice the shots that you want to get before you rendering. It's still very valuable, CGI, and I plan to do CGIs, but this building models is a great way to do special effects on the cheap, and it gives you a little bit more flexibility. I still use a little CGI towards the end, so in post-production, to make it look even more that it's underwater, but it has the benefit of me playing around with things and coming up. And so this is another thing. I had very limited time to come up to do the film and the post-production side of it. So this was a fairly quick turnaround. And for the amount of money that I spent, I think the production value was excellent. It was awesome. So have another look at the model itself while I bring up my screen, and I'll show you the process that I went through to build the model. So to start off with, I basically had an idea what I wanted. So in my head, I had the bits and pieces in my head. The only thing was finding the right bits to fit that. Sorry, just let me go to the right camera. To fit the bits. So by creating the bits that I needed, so there were several tools that I needed. Obviously, scissor and knife, a bunch of styrofoams, so round styrofoams, and I used the straws. So these are the straws that you get from the shops, and I cut them in half to make the conduits. And styrofoam cutter, obviously, those heating guns, and glue and bunch of paint. So to start off with, I put the bits together to make sure that it looks pretty much what I was imagining. And also from putting the bits together, it gave me other ideas of what to add or what to take away. So it's a great way of coming up with things on the go. And also I used bits and pieces that I had around the house. Obviously the styrofoam that I used the round styrofoam, cut them in half. So those are for the secondary buildings with the straw cut in half as well. And for the main building, initially I was thinking of using the bottle, so the end of the bottle for the roof, and the bottom of the bottle to make the body of the let me go to it and show you. So that was my initial idea, to use plastic bottle. But I found the plastic bottle was very hard to work with. So in the end, for the body, I used styrofoam. And just a quick word about styrofoams. So if you want to get styrofoams to build your own model, I would recommend going to the hardware stores and getting the styrofoams. One of the tricks that my brother taught me is that the builders also use the same type of styrofoams that craft styrofoams are made out of, but they're a little bit easier to work with and they're really cheap because you buy them in bulk. So they're great. So hardware stores, so in Australia, it's Bunnings, well, Bunnings is one of them, but it's the most popular one. And I believe in the USA, it's Walmart. I'm not sure what hardware store there is in the UK. If you know of, please put in the comment below. So let's go back to my screen. So once I had an idea of what the bits and pieces are, I basically cut the styrofoam and then pasted them together. And while cutting them, I cut them in a way that it looks non-uniform. So it looks like valleys and cliffs and whatnot. So it looks very much underwater. And then I glued them together. So make sure the glue that you use is specific for styrofoams, because the wrong glue could melt your styrofoam. So again, I practiced putting the bits together before I glued everything. So then, I did a bit more cutting and grooving to make it look like valleys and whatnot. Because I had very little time, I did very little cutting. But if I had more time, I would have done more cutting. And then I basically put a bunch of glue or adhesive on the foundation, and then I sprinkled sand to make it look the floor of the ocean. And here is when I cut the body of the building from styrofoam, and then I measured the portholes, and actually I attached, and this was another trick that my brother taught me. For the portal windows, I used washers, and then I drilled the holes so the light would come through. And then I put everything together, and then I painted it. So this is the end result. So already it's looking very impressive, I think. Obviously there's more room to improve, but I think for the amount of time and the limited knowledge that I had, it came out very nice. And then when it came to filming the set, I used a blue light to kind of give it that sense that it is underwater. It was a good foundation, but it's not the only thing that I did. So in post-production, I made a few other CGIs. But when filming, I did it inside a softbox, a kind of container. The main reason for that is, well, apart from controlling the light, I also used a smoke generator, so to create a bit of fog, so to make it look like it's underwater. So it gives it that little waves and excuse me, that little uneven warping that underwater scenes have. So there's me fighting with the smoke. But yeah, no, it turned out very well. I'll talk about the CGI part of it later in another video. But this was a great way to get special effects done on the cheap and fairly quickly. And it gave me the flexibility to turn things around film from one angle. If that didn't work, film from another angle. So it was very good for experimentation, trial and error kind of thing. So quickly, before I end the video, is there any questions? Do you have any questions? So on the right-hand side, there's a chat box. If you have any questions, just type your chat in there. If not, I'll just talk about quickly what's going to happen next week. So next week, I'm going to be interviewing, or I'm going to try and organize an interview with Michael Slater, who is one of the actors, Canberra actors, wonderful Canberra actor, that played in one of my short films, The First Astronaut. So I basically want to pick his brain, and this is very useful for us writers as well, writers, directors, is how do actors get into the character? How do they basically prepare themselves to play that actor? So it's especially in optimistic sci-fi, so you need to bring the uplifting side of the characters, the positive side of the characters. It's not always the case. If you have got a negative character, obviously, you need to do that. But those tricks that they use, actors use, is very useful for us to know, so we can basically use those tips and tricks to help new actors. So new actors who we want to direct to make the film better. So this is the end of the video. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next week, keep watching Optimistic Sci-Fi, but most importantly, keep making optimistic sci-fi.